The conversation around raw versus cooked foods often centers on vitamins, antioxidants, or flavor, but there's another crucial system deeply affected by how we prepare our food: the gut microbiome. This vast community of trillions of bacteria, viruses, and fungi in the digestive tract plays a key role in immunity, mood regulation, nutrient absorption, and long-term health. And while both raw and cooked foods nourish the gut in different ways, the form in which we eat them significantly shapes how our microbiota responds, altering fermentation patterns, microbial diversity, and even inflammation levels. Raw foods are rich in intact fibers and plant cell walls that resist digestion in the upper gastrointestinal tract. These complex carbohydrates arrive largely unchanged in the colon, where they act as prebiotics, fuel for beneficial gut bacteria. This fermentation process produces short-chain fatty acids, SCFAs, like butyrate and propionate, which support the integrity of the gut lining, regulate inflammation, and even influence brain health. Leafy greens, raw vegetables, and unprocessed fruits offer insoluble and soluble fibers that are ideal for feeding a diverse microbial ecosystem, especially in people whose guts are already well adapted to handle them. However, not everyone's microbiome reacts positively to large amounts of raw produce. For individuals with irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, SIBO, or generally sensitive digestion, raw foods can cause excessive gas, bloating, and discomfort. The raw fibers and resistant starches, while technically healthy, may ferment too rapidly or in the wrong place, causing dysbiosis or aggravating symptoms. This is where cooking becomes not just a culinary tool, but a digestive aid. When vegetables are cooked, their fibers soften and their cellular structures break down. This makes them easier to chew, quicker to digest, and gentler on the GI tract. Cooked vegetables still provide fiber, but it's often in a more accessible form that is less likely to cause irritation or overstimulate bacterial fermentation. For people with gut inflammation, autoimmune issues, or recent antibiotic use, this can be crucial. A warm bowl of roasted carrots or sautéed zucchini might offer more microbiome benefits than a raw salad if it allows for consistent fiber intake, without triggering symptoms. Heat also alters the molecular structure of certain starches, transforming some into resistant starches that actually enhance microbial diversity. For example, when foods like cooked and cooled potatoes or rice are eaten, they contain retrograde starch, which resists digestion and becomes ideal fuel for butyrate-producing bacteria. These bacteria, in turn, help keep gut inflammation in check and may lower the risk of colon cancer and metabolic disease. In this case, a simple change in temperature, not just raw or cooked status, can change how your microbiome perceives the food. Another dimension is how cooking affects polyphenol and plant defense compounds. Some raw vegetables, particularly cruciferous types like broccoli or kale, contain compounds that can be mildly irritating to the gut in high amounts, such as goitrogens or glucosinolates. Cooking neutralizes many of these, making the vegetables more tolerable for sensitive individuals. While raw forms may offer higher levels of myrosinase-dependent compounds like sulforaphane, steaming preserves these benefits better than boiling and offers a middle ground between potency and gentleness. Fermentation also deserves a mention. Many raw foods are transformed by beneficial bacteria into forms that actually help repopulate the gut. Think kimchi, sauerkraut, or raw fermented pickles. These raw preparations are living foods in the truest sense, delivering both prebiotics and probiotics that can support a balanced microbiome. However, the benefits here stem more from the fermentation process than from rawness itself, and these foods are typically consumed in small, concentrated amounts rather than as the bulk of a meal. So, which is better for the microbiome, raw or cooked? The truth is that each has unique benefits, and the ideal balance depends on the individual's gut status, health goals, and digestive capacity. A robust microbiome often thrives on variety and flexibility, not extremes. Incorporating both raw and cooked vegetables creates a dynamic ecosystem in the gut, with different bacteria feasting on different fibers, compounds, and fermentation products. For those with strong digestion, raw foods can increase microbial diversity and stimulate SCFA production, enhancing resilience. For those recovering from illness or managing inflammation, cooked foods offer fiber without friction, supporting the microbiome in a gentler way. And for everyone, rotating between steamed, roasted, raw, Fermented and cooled starch foods keeps the gut challenged, nourished, and adaptive. In the end, what matters most is not whether food is raw or cooked, but how your body responds and how well your microbiome is being fed. Because a well-fed gut isn't just about avoiding bloating or checking off fiber boxes. It's the root of your immune system, your mood, your metabolic balance, and even your sense of vitality. So whether it's a crisp raw cucumber or a slow-roasted beet, each bite carries information, not just calories. And how you cook it may be just as important as what you're eating in the first place.